Before it's too late, I want you to pause with me for a moment. Because life doesn't send warnings the way we think it will. It doesn't knock loudly on the door and announce, "This is your last chance." No, it whispers, quietly, gently, gently, almost invisibly, and most of the time we're too busy, too distracted, too afraid to hear it. We think love will wait. We think time will stretch. We think there will always be another tomorrow to say the words we're scared to say today. But the truth is, love has a clock, not a cruel one, not a loud one, just a silent clock that keeps moving while we hesitate. Tonight, I don't want to talk about success or money or achievements. I want to talk about the things we leave unsaid, but the hugs we postpone, the messages we type and never send, the people we love but assume they already know. Because the most painful words a heart can ever whisper are not "I failed." The most painful words a heart can ever whisper are not "I failed." They are "I waited too long." The love you feel but don't express. The love you protect behind pride. The love you protect behind pride. The love you postpone for the perfect moment that never arrives. So if there is someone living in your heart right now, someone you miss, someone you forgive, someone you still believe in, here, listen carefully, because this might be the moment your heart has been waiting for. Before it's too late. Those four words feel simple when you read them. Quiet, ordinary, almost harmless. But when life whispers them to you, for real, they carry the weight of everything you never said and everything you. We grow up believing time is endless. When we are young, tomorrow feels like a promise written in permanent ink. We assume the people we love will always be around. We assume the doors we leave half closed will always stay unlocked. We assume the words we don't say today can always be said next week, next month, next year. But life doesn't move the way we imagine it will. It moves quietly, steadily, without pausing to check if we are ready. And one day you wake up and realize how many chances quietly passed you by while you were waiting for the perfect moment to forgive, the perfect moment to admit how deeply you care, the perfect moment to admit how deeply you care, the perfect moment to stop pretending you don't need someone. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the right time, but most of the time, we're just waiting for courage. Courage to be vulnerable. Courage to say the words that make our voice shake. Because love is terrifying in its purest form. It asks you to step forward without guarantees. It asks you to risk rejection, misunderstanding, and heartbreak. It asks you to open your heart knowing it could be broken. And so we hesitate, we delay, we convince ourselves silence is safer than truth. We become masters of unsent messages and unspoken feelings. We carry entire conversations in our heads that never reach the people who needed to hear them most. How many times have you almost told someone you loved them and stopped yourself? How many times have you almost apologized and swallowed the words? How many times have you wanted to reach out, but let pride hold your hand back? We think silence protects us, but silence doesn't protect us. But silence doesn't protect love. Silence slowly erases it. Yes. Love is not meant to live quietly inside your chest. It's meant to be spoken, shown, shared, risked. Love that stays hidden becomes heavy. It becomes regret. It becomes the sentence that starts with, "I wish I had." It becomes the sentence that starts with, "I wish I had." And those words are heavier than any rejection you were afraid of. The truth is, rejection hurts. Vulnerability is uncomfortable. Opening your heart is risky, but regret is permanent in a way fear never is. Fear fades. Embarrassment in a way fear ever is. But regret has a way of staying. It visits you late at night. It sits beside you in quiet rooms. It reminds you of the phone calls you never made and the hugs you never gave. We spend so much time preparing for worst case scenarios that we forget to prepare for the best ones. We imagine rejection. We imagine awkwardness. We imagine failure. But what if the person you're afraid to call is hoping you will? What if the person you're scared to forgive is waiting for your words? What if the person you're scared to forgive is waiting for your words? What if the love you're afraid to confess is the love that has been quietly waiting for you too? Life doesn't collapse in dramatic explosions most of the time. It changes in small moments, quiet moments, moments that feel ordinary while they're happening. A last conversation that feels like a normal goodbye, a last visit that feels like a normal goodbye, a last visit that feels like just another day, a last message you never send because you assume there will be another chance. We rarely recognize the last time while it's happening. That's the heartbreaking truth. You never know which hug will be the last hug, which laugh will be the last laugh, which ordinary day will quietly become a memory. And because we don't know, we treat moments like they are guaranteed to repeat. We save our words for later. We postpone our kindness. We delay our honesty. We behave as if love has unlimited retries. But life doesn't operate like a movie. There is no rewind button, no deleted scenes, no second take for the words you didn't say. There is only this moment, this breath, this chance. Right now, somewhere in your life, there is someone you miss, someone you should call, someone you should forgive, someone you should forgive, someone you should fall a little tighter. And the only thing standing between you and that moment is hesitation. Hesitation dressed as pride, hesitation disguised as pride, hesitation disguised as timing, hesitation pretending to be logic. We tell ourselves we need the perfect words, the perfect mood, the perfect opportunity. But love doesn't require perfection. Love requires presence. Walks. If the noise turns into music, it requires you to show up even when your voice shakes, even when you don't know the right sentence, even when you feel unsure, because imperfect love spoken out loud is infinitely more powerful than perfect love kept silent. Music. Imagine how many lives would change if people said what they felt the moment they felt it. Imagine how many relationships would heal if someone simply said, I'm sorry. Imagine how many hearts would feel lighter if someone simply said, I miss you. Imagine how many hearts would feel lighter if someone simply said, I miss you. Imagine how many people would feel less alone if someone simply said, I care about you. They are simple, but they require courage. And courage is the bridge between love and regret. The tragedy of life isn't that love disappears. The tragedy of life isn't that love disappears. The tragedy is how often we hide it until it's too late to get it. We wait until funerals. We wait until memories become the only place left to send our words. We write messages we can never send. We imagine conversations we can never have. We replay moments wishing we had said just one more thing. And in those moments, we finally understand the real cost of silence. Not embarrassment, not rejection, not awkwardness. The absence of the chance we assumed would always be there. Life moves forward whether we speak or not. Time moves forward whether we speak or not. Time moves forward whether we act or not. The clock does not slow down while we gather courage. And one day, you will wish you had acted sooner. Not because you were wrong, but because you waited. Waiting feels safe. Waiting feels comfortable. Waiting feels responsible. Waiting feels responsible. But waiting is often just fear wearing a polite mask. We tell ourselves we're being patient, but deep down, we're just afraid. Afraid of being vulnerable. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of being seen. Yet the irony is beautiful and painful at the same time. The very thing we are afraid of is the thing that makes life meaningful. To love is to be seen, used. To speak is to step into uncertainty. And uncertainty is where real connection lives. Because love was never meant to be safe. Love was meant to be real. Real love shakes your voice. Real love makes your heart race. Real love pushes you out of the comfort of silence and into the courage of honesty. And every day you delay that honesty. You trade possibility for regret. There is someone out there right now who deserves your words. Someone who deserves your forgiveness. Someone who deserves your gratitude. Someone who deserves to know they matter to you, and they might never know unless you tell them. You cannot assume people understand your heart. You cannot assume people can read your silence. You cannot assume tomorrow will give you another chance. Love does not survive on assumptions, it survives on expression. It survives on expression. It survives on words spoken in imperfect moments, on hugs given without reason, on calls made without planning, on apologies made without pride. It survives on courage. It's not dramatic. It's not fear. Less. Courage is quiet. Courage is shaky. Courage is shaky. Courage is pressing send on a message that scares you. Courage is saying, I love you without knowing what comes next. Courage is choosing connection over comfort. Because comfort keeps you silent. Courage gives love a voice. Time never promises another chance. We live as if it does. Every morning we wake up, we assume the people we love are still there. The doors we left, half open, are still waiting. The conversations we paused can still be continued exactly where we left them. We move through life with an invisible safety net we never actually see, yet we trust it completely. We trust that tomorrow will arrive with the same faces, the same voices, the same opportunities sitting patiently in the same places. But tomorrow is not a promise. Tomorrow is a possibility. And possibility is fragile. There is something almost poetic about how quietly time moves. It doesn't rush us. It doesn't shout. It doesn't shout. It doesn't warn. It simply continues. Second by second, minute by minute, moment by moment, it keeps walking forward without ever looking back to see if we are ready. We imagine time like a long road, stretching endlessly into the distance. We think there will always be another turn, another exit, another chance to go back and fix what we missed. We believe that the moments we ignore today will still be waiting patiently for us next week. But time doesn't wait in parking lots, it doesn't sit on benches. It doesn't linger in doorways hoping you will return. Time keeps moving even when you stand still. And the hardest truth to accept is that the people you love are moving forward with it. Every day, the people in your life are changing. They are growing, hurting, healing, dreaming, struggling. Their lives are moving in directions you cannot always see. Their days are filled with moments you may never hear about. Their hearts carry stories you may never know. We assume we will always be part of their story. We assume there will always be space for us in their chapters. We assume the bond we feel today will naturally remain tomorrow without effort, without words, without presence. But love is not preserved by assumption. Love is preserved by attention. Attention is the quiet proof that someone matters. It is the simple act of showing up. It is the willingness to listen when you are tired. It is the willingness to listen when you are tired. It is the decision to ask how someone is really doing instead of accepting the easy answer. We underestimate a message, a brief call, music, a simple "I'm thinking about you." These moments seem insignificant while they are happening, but they become the threads that hold relationships together. Without those threads, distance begins to grow. Not dramatic distance, not obvious distance, quiet distance, the kind that forms slowly, gently, almost politely. The kind you only notice when it has already grown too wide to cross easily. There are friendships that fade not because of conflict, but because of silence. There are relationships that weaken, not because of anger, but because of neglect. There are connections that disappear, not because of neglect. There are connections that disappear not because of one big moment, but because of 1,000 small moments that never happened. We tell ourselves everyone is busy, everyone understands, everyone knows we care even if we don't say it. But understanding is not the same as feeling. People need to hear the words, they need to feel the presence, they need to feel the presence, they need to experience the effort. Love cannot survive on silent assumptions forever. One day you realize how long it has been since you spoke to someone who once meant everything to you. You scroll through old messages, old photos, old memories, and you wonder how time moves so quickly without your permission. You wonder how a person who was once part of your daily life became someone you only think about occasionally. And in that moment, you understand something painful and beautiful at the same time. Relationships do not disappear suddenly. They fade quietly while we assume they are safe. Time is not cruel. It is simply honest. It gives you exactly what you choose to nurture. If you nurture distance, distance grows. If you nurture distance, distance grows. If you nurture silence, silence grows. If you nurture love, love grows. The people in your life are not permanent fixtures. They are temporary miracles. They are travelers walking beside you for a part of your journey. Some stay for years, some stay for months, some stay for months, but none are guaranteed to stay forever. And that is what makes them precious. If everyone stayed forever, hugs would lose their urgency. Goodbyes would lose their meaning. Words would lose their weight. The reason love feels powerful is because it exists inside the boundaries of time. There is a limited number of conversations you will have with every person in your life, a limited number of laughs, a limited number of shared meals, a limited number of moments sitting together doing absolutely nothing. We don't know the number. We never know the number. And because we don't know, we act as if the number is infinite. We save our kindness for later. We save our visits for later. We save our words for later. We save our words for later. But later is a place time does not guarantee. Some of the most painful realizations in life begin with the words, I thought there would be more time to visit, more time to talk, more time to apologize, more time to say thank you, more time to apologize, more time to apologize to say, love you, more time to say I love you. Those words carry a quiet heartbreak that echoes through empty rooms and unanswered phones. The reality is simple and difficult. At the same time, the people you love today are the same time. The people you love today are the only moment you truly have. Not the version of them from the past, not the version you imagine in the future, the version of them that exists right now. The laugh they have today, the worries they carry today, the worries they carry today, the dreams they hold today, the presence they bring into your life today, the presence they bring into your life today. This version of them will never exist again. Experiences will transform them. Life will change them. Life will change them. Life will transform them. And one day the version of them you knew will quietly become a memory. Memories are beautiful, but they are not a substitute for presence. A memory cannot hug you back. A memory cannot laugh with you. A memory cannot answer when you call. Memories are echoes of moments that once had the chance to be fully lived. And that is why presence matters so much, being there while the moment is still alive, speaking while the person is still listening, loving while the heart is still within reach. There is a quiet tragedy in how often we postpone joy. We wait for special occasions to celebrate. We wait for perfect conditions to express gratitude. We wait for milestones to show appreciation. We act as if ordinary days are not worthy of extraordinary love. But ordinary days are the majority of life. They are the fabric of existence. They are where real connection lives. A random Tuesday afternoon, a quiet evening conversation, a quiet evening conversation, a simple walk with no destination. These are the moments that quietly build a life, and yet we rush through them as if they are practice row. Music, uns for something more important. There is nothing more important. The people you love do not need grand gestures every day. They need presence, attention, honesty, effort, small reminders that they matter. They need to feel chosen in the middle of ordinary time. Because ordinary time is where life truly happens. One day you will look back and realize the days you thought were ordinary were actually the days you missed the most. The simple conversations, the nostalgia, laughter, the unplanned moments that felt too normal to appreciate. You will wish you had noticed how special they were while they were still happening. Time never promises another chance to relive those exact moments. It offers new moments, different moments, but never the same ones. The people you love today will never again be exactly who they are in this moment. Their voices will change, their dreams will evolve, their paths will shift. And that is the quiet urgency of love. To love someone is to understand that the moment you have with them right now is unique and unrepeatable. To love someone is to recognize that presence is the greatest gift you can offer. To love someone is to stop assuming there will always be more time. Because sometimes there isn't. Sometimes the conversation you postpone becomes the conversation you never get to have. Sometimes the visit you delay becomes the visit you never make. Sometimes the words you say become the words you never speak. And in those moments, you understand something deeply human. Love was never meant to be postponed. Love was meant to be lived in real time.